Bitcoin is finally working its way down to have a proper correction before we can see much higher prices well above 100K. But here is the few things I want to point out to you guys so we can better understand the structure and how we can take advantage of this, right? So right now we have that first level of support broken, which is the 120 moving average. We've seen this happen before where the price breaks below it a little bit, starts to pump up higher and holds above it. In this case, we broke below it, failed to break above it once again, and broke down. So first level confirmation is done. And we have a few more to look at. But also, liquidation heat maps on major exchanges are not showing a potential floor, which means there is a lot of bearish momentum building. And that's also reflected on the RSI, where we saw the price come down. It came down pretty well, where we saw pretty small micro level support lines being broken. And the RSI did not want to hit that 30 and break below it until this bigger move down, where it finally held below the 120 moving average, and it also held below the 100% extension in green at 94.7K, broke below it, and we finally saw that RSI reflecting that. So right now, as the RSI attempts to reset, we can easily see it come up, try to retest this consolidation area here. We have a little bit of an imbalance, so a little bit of a correction upward for this bearish move down before we can finally see this red area down here being filled. Now, here are the few things that are going to be fighting the red area to hold the price higher, right? So we are ideally wanting to see the price come down and fill in this red, right? But we have a few things to look at, other support levels that would need to be confirmed broken, which is the 0.35 extension in the orangey yellow looking color at 93K. This area has acted as support previously in the past. And at the same time, this area also overlaps with previous consolidation and a previous area here of an extension where the price came down, bottomed right here between the 100% extension and the 1.236 extension. So 90K and 92K. It came down, was able to trade within this area, and also the 90.9K area also reflects pretty well with the 90.9K area right here in orange with 0.5 extension. So as the price comes down, if it's able to break below this 0.35 extension, we also want to see it break below the 0.5 because this is a very strong support. We've seen this many times in the past where Bitcoin uses a previous extension as support in the future. So a previous extension which was originally intended as a resistance can act as support in the future, especially if we see these extension areas or lines align very well with future retracement areas which align perfectly. So we have strong support in this area, which means we can easily see the price come down, consolidate within this area, potentially create bullish traps, a little bit of FOMO, a little bit of a fake out, fluctuating this area before we see the price come down. So expect prices, at least in my opinion, to show strength within this 0.35 and 0.5 gap between 90.9K and 93K. Consolidation, it's going to look like it's going to be creating a lot of strength, but in my opinion, it's just a little bit of time consolidation before the price comes down lower and finally completes this, right? But let's say the price, and this is why it's so important when I'm personally taking small long positions until the 0.5 down here is broken, because at any point we can easily see the price. We have not maxed out this green area, which is completely okay, but it is still valid to max this area out until we see the final support line being broken, which is again at 90.9K. So at any point the price can not just retest this previous swing high, but it can go ahead and test the 99K level at the 1.38 extension, and even go up to like roughly 102K at the 1.618 extension. So all this is still possible until that 0.5 90.9K is broken down here. So what that means is it's very important to prep yourself, not just with small long positions for any more potential upside, maybe a one more high to try to fill in this area, but also have a very tight stop loss in case momentum does continue in the more ideal scenario, so we can finally start moving up higher. So it's very important to protect yourself on that, but also open yourself up for profiting on the way higher. Now, if we do come down, finally, we break below the 0.5, which can happen very soon. Again, I'm expecting consolidation within this area, so it can delay a little bit. But I am expecting this area to be broken, and we can finally start trading within this red area. What that means is this red area. There's a few factors that support it, in my opinion, which is imbalance gaps. So these two imbalance gaps have not been properly filled, unlike here where it was properly filled, and we had another one here which was properly filled. So these two have not been filled, and they overlap perfectly with this area. But we also have really nice consolidation within this area with a floor at 83K, which perfectly overlaps with the 0.618 extension at 83.3K. So it's very possible that we can see prices come down and reach the 0.618 extension in red before pumping up higher. The reason is very significant is that it keeps us mindful that position sizing is very important, and it keeps us very much aware of how low a price can really go. So very important to keep an eye on this. Very important to keep an eye on the 0.5 extension there in the orange yellow box, and also keeping an eye on how that overlaps with previous supports, because we still have the potential of filling in this area up here. So I'm personally taking, again, small long positions, but I am also aware that the price can easily fake out, come down lower, and finally fill this area, which is where I plan to aggressively buy long positions instead of very lightly buying up here. I want to aggressively buy down here. But I understand that due to these two pathways, we have a lot of other information, which is basically as simple as understanding that Bitcoin is eventually going to make a new all-time high due to this extended multi-month correction that it's had. And what that means is that even if we do come down, again, I believe it's more possible we can come down here than not. But at the point where we reach around 80K, low 80Ks, is very possible that Bitcoin can start to recover very aggressively. Because again, I said this in previous videos where deep value Bitcoin have all been bought up. And if you guys look at the Bitcoin supply and demand chart, it is very much in favoring higher prices soon. So understanding that, we know that, hey, we probably don't want to shy away from accumulating, especially in the low 80s, because at any point we can easily come up and finally start trading back in the 100K level. One more thing too, this pattern is very similar. We've seen this in the past in 2024 and many times as well, where we have a overextended, push up in the price, and then it does not want to max out the extension area. Instead, it has a proper correction before it maxes out the extension area and then breaks it and makes new highs. So that's why it's very important to understand the short-term fluctuation risk and how that can influence potential FOMO, and then how we can back that up with understanding, hey, patience is important, because it's very possible that we can fill in this red area due to evidence that we have back here that I pointed out already. We understand that, hey, it's very important to maybe focus on our position sizing until we have clear evidence that, hey, a bottom is in or near. But I don't believe that's going to happen until we reach this area. Again, until one last time, until we break below 90.9K. At any point from here to here, we still have a chance to go ahead and try to hit or pass the 1.38 extension at 99K. So hopefully this video made sense, guys. Hopefully you guys are being patient. I know I am. I'm just, again, taking small positions to the long because I want to accumulate the majority of my exposure in this red area specifically, especially low 80s. It's very much possible. So yeah, guys, hopefully this video made sense, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.